Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. We have yet another PlayStation PC game update, one that's going a little bit under the radar, actually a lot under the radar, and I know a lot of you guys aren't excited for it. It's coming out at a really terrible time amidst a lot of other big game releases. I kind of feel bad for it because I don't think Sony has done the game any favors, and I'll go on a mini rant about it, but, you know, it happened months ago, so I have to, calm down about, crapping on Sony about this all the time, but we'll talk about the game as we got system requirements and a lot of other information, exciting information as well, and another clarification on Horizon Forbidden West. Somebody in my comment section noted to me about this, so we'll talk that in a little bit. Let's just keep the PlayStation news together. So first of all, if you guys don't know, PlayStation and Sony are, in fact, publishing a new PC game next month. When I had been talking about, hey, there's no early 2024 PC game scheduled right now for PlayStation, I'm a dummy because I totally forgot about this game too, and it's a game I'm actually excited about. Maybe because it's a day one release and it's not something that is getting pushed. It's like a, 2-year turnaround or anything like that. Totally missed this. Helldivers 2, guys, being developed by Arrowhead Game Studios. It is being released. And this is actually a game that is releasing day and day with the PlayStation version. Now, in fact, Helldivers 1 did come out on PC, and really, maybe you can track it back as the first PlayStation published title on PC, but Helldivers 2 has a bigger budget attached to it. It's a different presentation style, so to speak, and looks pretty good. Now, they have misfired in so many areas with Helldivers 2. First of all, this February release window, not the greatest thing in the world. Look at all the big games coming out in February. You've got, and really in end of January, you got Prince of Persia in a week. You got Infinite Wealth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. You've got Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. That's on PlayStation. You've got, what else? Tekken 8. You've got Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. You got Persona 3 Reload. You got Skull and Bones. You've got Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. You've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, some of those games obviously are smaller titles, but there was a lot of big titles there that I think Helldivers 2 is going to get a little bit lost in the shuffle. Now, it offers its own unique gameplay style, experience, etc., etc. It's a co-op focused game, so you probably want a couple friends to pick it up as well. And what has been noted is the fact that cross-platform play will be available with the PlayStation 5 version of the game. Just to quickly rant, last June when the PlayStation Showcase happened, they totally misfired by not having Helldivers 2 be the big game that kicked off that presentation because that's where a lot of interest is. Instead, they showed some CG trailer for a game nobody knows about called Fair Game, and we still know nothing about it, and that was just totally a total worthless trailer by PlayStation. And just a head-scratching, boneheaded decision that still bewilders me. It's something that most people don't talk about at this point, but it still, bewilders me to no end. And I think it was just a missed opportunity to give Helldivers 2 some shine, because it certainly needs it. I'm not saying this is a game that's going to sell millions upon millions of copies, but I do think it could have done better than, what it's gonna do. Maybe it's a game that they just needed to get out in Q1. They wanted it out in this fiscal year. I don't know the exact reasoning or anything like that, but I think if they push this game to, let's say, the summer, and I get it, easier said than done, and they just promoted the game a little better, I think it would have done better, but, that's hearsay at this point. We'll never know. And the game might end up still doing very well, and we do have it as a cross-platform release. We've got crossplay, so hopefully that'll jolt up the player base and friends that you'll have that are playing this game. We do also have system requirements. It is going to be a relatively beefy game to run, so minimum, it'll be fine. 1080p, 30 FPS, graphics preset at low, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti or AMD Radeon RX 470, CPU i7-4790K or a Ryzen 5 1500X, and RAM 8 gigs of RAM. Still kicking with 8 gigs of RAM, so there you go with that. That's 1080p, low, 30 FPS. Recommended, which this is kind of wild. This is why we need multiple tiers of system requirements, because just having minimum and recommended, recommended is 1080p 60 FPS, which is fine. I would say most enthusiasts at this point are playing well above 1080p, but fine, 1080p 60 FPS. Medium settings though, 1080p 60 medium is recommended, so that's a weird recommended threshold, and I don't think, that's just strange, but that's why we need multiple tiers of system requirements, and I've been saying that for damn near a decade, but nevertheless, so 1080p 60 medium, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 or AMD Radeon RX 6600 XT, Intel Core i7 9700K, or AMD Ryzen 7 3700X, 16 gigs of RAM for recommended. Now we're talking performance, 1440p 60 FPS high. that you're looking at an RTX 3070 or a Radeon RX 6800, a Core i5 12600K, or a Ryzen 7 5800X, and 16 gigs of RAM. And then you do have Ultra, that's 4K 60 FPS, very high, an RTX 4070 Ti or an RX 7900 XTX, or an i5 12600K or a Ryzen 7 5800X, 16 gigs of RAM as well. No 32 gigs needed for any of the tiers. So system requirements-wise, kind of a little bit higher end, to say the least, but yeah, this game is getting totally lost in the shuffle, and I feel like a bonehead for not even mentioning this game when we're talking about PlayStation on PC in 2024. This is a notable one. It's a bigger budget title compared to the first game. It's a day one release, and it is multiplayer focused, so the day one aspect is a little bit more to be expected, even if Arrowhead is not a first-party studio. This is a multiplayer focused title that is being published by PlayStation. This is the type of game you want to put day one on PC. Another third-party title that's being published by PlayStation is Rise of the Ronin. That is being developed by Team Ninja. That will not be on PC day one. I would have to assume that ultimately it'll be on PC sometime down the line, but Rise of the Ronin is another third-party PlayStation published game, won't be on PC right out the gate. So, interesting how they are handling it. I mean, that's exactly what most of us expected how they were going to handle their PlayStation titles. It's just, this is one that, to me, is getting completely lost in the shuffle. I don't know, maybe for some of you guys, you're a little bit more excited, and I think ultimately with a game like Helldivers 2, it is going to depend on how is the game. Is it going to be a title that streamers are playing, and is it going to be promoted that way, where it's a really fun co-op title? I think that's going to be the make or break for Helldivers 2, because if it's just a game coming out, not a lot of interest right now in a very competitive climate of game releases, so you know, that is something to consider, but yeah, we've got PC specifications, and be on the lookout for that. Add it to your wish list for now, and see how it does turn out. It is priced at $39.99, so it's not a full $60 game or anything like that, but something to note there. Speaking of which, a game that was slated for early 2024, it looks to have been pushed. That's obviously Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition. I'd mentioned in yesterday's video where I talked about this that I thought it was listed at 2024 for a while, or I wasn't sure if it was listed as early 2024 before on the Steam page itself. Somebody clarified in the comment section, it was definitely slated for early 2024 on the Steam page as well. It has been edited to just 2024, so it looks like Forbidden West is getting pushed, which I don't think is the worst thing in the world. Again, February, March is absolutely stacked with game releases, like why throw in Forbidden West as well? Especially February, where you, again, have your own PlayStation title coming out. I feel like this is where Sony and PlayStation kind of misfired with their PC releases at the end of, I think it was 2022, where they were just spam releasing a lot of games with no build-up. There was like a 3 or 4 week period where they dropped Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, and Spider-Man Miles Morales on PC. And sure, that was a great time for being like, oh, all these games are coming out on PC, but in terms of return on the investment, why would you compete with yourself like that? And again, you're dropping like Uncharted at $50, you're dropping Sackboy at $60, Miles Morales, I think, was $50. Yeah, it was $50. Like, that's a little wild from a price point standpoint, but if you're gonna do those kind of price points, at least don't be competing with yourself as well. But that's just my opinion. But that'll do it for me. Again, Helldivers is one game I think you guys should have on your radar a little bit. I'm not saying everybody's going to pick it up day one, especially with all the other big games coming out, but it's one that looks pretty good. I loved Helldivers 1 as well. I thought that was a great game. Just a lot of chaotic fun. But yeah, $40, you know, something to think about there. And Horizon Forbidden West, probably going to be sometime later in 2024, given that it was edited on the Steam page. I'm assuming April, May, like that once you get to April, May, that's really not early 2024 anymore. But April, May for Forbidden West said, maybe, fingers crossed, Ghost of Tsushima for the summer. I don't know, I feel like, yo, anytime I talk about PlayStation, Ghost of Tsushima seems to be obviously also Bloodborne, but Ghost of Tsushima, as far as a realistic one, is the game that everybody is talking about in the comments section, which is like, man, I didn't know people want that game. That I loved Ghost of Tsushima, don't get me wrong, like, I thought that game was fantastic, but I didn't know everybody else wanted that game that badly. But yeah, I would be pretty excited for that as well. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.